Welcome to That's Derm Good. I'm Janelle Ball, and I'm excited to bring you thought-provoking conversations about biologics, specialty medications, treatments, and so much more. I'll be chatting with some amazing guests about access, affordability, and advocacy. You're really going to enjoy this show. Welcome to That's Derm Good. Today, my guest is Brandi Foreman Bruton, a softball enthusiast, co-owner of MSA Hitting Performance Center. And Brandi joins us to share a personal journey living with HS and type 2 diabetes, the challenges of navigating chronic disease, and the resilience that she has developed along the way. And as a former Division I softball athlete, educator, coach, and advocate who has dedicated her career to helping others perform at their highest potential. So, Brandi, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, you're currently pursuing your doctorate in sports and performance
Y Yeah,
psychology?
psychology. Mhm. Yes. Yes, I actually just finished up my first quarter of classes, and I just did they do, like, different sections for your dissertation, so I just
Mhm.
did my first, checkpoint for my dissertation. So, it's
Wow.
exciting.
Yeah, a lot of work, though, I'm sure.
Yes. It's a lot of writing, lots of reading, lots of research, but I'm enjoying it, so it's really not that bad. It's just more so time consuming, and naturally, I don't really have a lot of time during the day, so I've been staying up super duper late just typing and reading almost
Yeah.
every night, so it's a lot of time.
So I saw that you hold Alabama's state record for the highest single season batting average in softball.
Yes, that was in high school. I went to Madison Academy, and I just kinda went crazy that year. So, my batting average was 631, and I still hold it. I think I'm in still, like, in the top 10, top 15 in the
Mm,
state, but yes, yes.
that's amazing.
Thank you.
It's an exciting accomplishment for sure. Yeah, I ran track in high school. That
Hmm.
was about it. My
Uh,
sisters were track stars. They were a lot better than me, but I was more into socializing, and
Yeah.
it was just not my jam. So my dad he would try to make me go run around the block, or he's like, "You need to practice." And I did not like long distance running. I just wanted to do sprints, and that was it. And I was like,
Yeah.
"What do you mean I have to run long distance?"
I feel
Like,
you.
I'm
I'm the
fast. I can
same
do
way.
this. So that didn't last too long.
Hey, at least you tried.
Right. Right.
I'm the
Oh,
same way though. That's why I chose softball. It's only 60 feet, and most of the time you don't even run all the bases. So,
yeah. I love it. So tell us a little bit about your journey as an athlete, but also now becoming an advocate and your HS story.
So I started struggling a lot with my skin when I was in middle school. I was the person that had like irregular periods, like they were very severe. So my hormones were always abnormal. And I noticed that it started to really affect my skin. So in middle school, I saw a dermatologist and they couldn't really figure out what was going on because I would just get random, I guess, like cysts and abscess in like the most uncomfortable places. The main place that I struggled with was my armpits. And then a lot of times my growing area. But I've always been very active, and with active, you're sweating all the
Mm,
time. So it was like, what do I do? So originally, it was more about like controlling the sweat because the more you sweat, the more the cysts and the abscess and stuff they get irritated. So literally after I would practice and stuff, I headed straight to the shower, like because it would just irritate me. It was very itchy, very just uncomfortable. So later, I believe around high school, that's when they finally said I had HS. And of course, it was uncommon, especially, like 2010s era. Like nobody really knew what it was because it was just rare. They always said, "Oh, it's a rare skin condition. Mostly women have it, especially women of color, Black women, Hispanic women." And I'm like, "Okay, so what do I do for it?" So
Mhm.
they always gave me topicals. Eventually, when I got to college, because of course, we had extreme workouts and stuff, constantly sweating. Sometimes we have two a days. So, I'm trying to keep up with it because it's like the more I sweat, the more I get irritated. So they did give me some kind of topical. Back then, like I said, 2010s, they didn't really know. So those topicals were kind of harsh. So it
Mm.
was more of like making the irritation more because they were more harsh. So
Mhm.
it's like, with softball, you're always wearing tight clothes. So tight sliding shorts, tight pants. So that tightness was just so uncomfortable. And I was like, there has to be an easier way, especially with the topicals and stuff, because it's just making it worse. So, me, I like to do a lot of research, obviously, since now I'm going for my doctorate, and just find more natural ways to help with it. So I started being more like hydrated, trying to not eat as much sugar or stuff like that. I learned that, carbs, sugar, and stuff, it kind of feeds the HS. It just makes it worse. So then once I got out of college and I'm no longer playing sports, I could kind of like focus a little bit more on my health because I'm not constantly worrying about showering 2 or 3 times a day, you know what I'm saying, just to keep it not irritated.
Mhm.
So once I got out of college, that's when the pre-diabetes was starting to yo-yo. So like 1 minute, like my A1C would be, right at the pre-diabetic level, 5.7, or sometimes it will be normal, like at 4.6. So I always yo-yoed between normal and pre-diabetic. So they wanted to say that the HS, or at least the boils and stuff, the cysts, was due to diabetes because, diabetics get skin conditions. And I'm like, I don't know, because at the time I was more like ignorant. Like, you're young, you don't want anything wrong with you, like I just kinda ignored things until stuff got worse.
Right.
So, I just really tried to focus on treating the HS and not necessarily treating pre-diabetes. So I later discovered that, turmeric and zinc, using, like, a decent acne wash that's not too harsh, I started using like Neutrogena acne body wash that seemed to help keep it calm. And then whenever it got really severe, I started using Panoxyl. And that seemed to help because I never really had severe flare ups unless I was experiencing like high stress or I knew that my diet was a little off. But other than that, I could manage it because I'm the kind of girl like I like to be cute and dress up. I like to have my arms out. And it did get to a point where I was ashamed to show my arms, wear like, spaghetti strap tops and
Mhm.
stuff. But it always yo yoed. And with me, that's just kind of how my health is. It would yo yo. It'd be good 1 minute and then it'd be like, oh gosh, it's bad. I'm going to have to take action. But I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 2023. Before I got diagnosed, again, like I said, the pre-diabetes kind of showed up almost every other year at my primary doctor. I never really took it seriously, and I don't know why, but diabetes runs very strong on both sides of my family. Just about most of my family, everyone has diabetes. It doesn't matter how fit they are, or like I have aunts, cousins, they just look great, but they
Mhm.
all have type 2 diabetes. They're very active, very healthy from, outside looking in. But I was just like, if I really got sick, that's when I'll take it seriously. And I've learned when you speak stuff into existence, it will happen. So
Mhm.
I ended up in the hospital for a while. I had all the symptoms. I was urinating very frequently. A lot of times I couldn't even hold it. So there was several times I had an accident because I couldn't hold my pee. I was very thirsty. Nothing was working. Um I was drinking everything, water, Gatorade, Propel. I couldn't get hydrated. I literally felt like a raisin. And
Mm.
then I was, throwing up, and it was just bad. I literally felt like I was on the verge of dying, and I've never felt that way, and it ended up being that way. So when I got into the hospital, my blood sugar was over 1,200,
Mm.
and I had no insulin, no potassium in my body. So, on the hour, every hour, I was getting everything checked, fluids. I can't even tell you how many bags of fluids they gave me. Like, it was crazy. I was severely dehydrated. So, that was definitely a wake up call. Everybody's still looking at me like I'm so confused because you look healthy, you don't look like somebody that would have type 2 diabetes, but at the end of it all, you can't fight genetics, so it scared me. So I completely changed my diet. I do low carb, no sugar. All my oils are plant based, olive oil, avocado oil. I don't really eat a lot of fried foods anymore, even though, I love a good fried piece of chicken, fried catfish, but a lot of it is in moderation. But then I noticed once my diet changed, it was like everything got better. The
Mm.
HS was tolerable. It was pretty much non existent. But when you do get a disease like diabetes, your body completely freaks out. So my immune system was in like panic mode at this point when I first got diagnosed. So I think within that year, I got COVID. And then once I got COVID, I had a huge flare up of HS. And it was
Mm.
terrifying because the pain of it felt like I had the flu, and it felt like I got hit by a bus. I've always had an abscess or a cyst underneath my right armpit. It just kind of looks like saggy skin, but it is a cyst. It just hangs out. It's like my best friend at this point right now, but it doesn't bother me. But when I got COVID and then dealing with the diabetes, blood sugar, going crazy, trying to figure out medications and stuff, that my friend became my enemy. It like grew, and
Mm.
it covered my whole bicep. Like, it was from my armpit to my bicep. It was huge. And, I'm a darker skinned girl. My skin was literally red. Like, it was hot. It was huge. I was like, what is going
Wow.
on? It was so painful. I couldn't even lift up my arm or put it down. I never experienced that. So, I went to the dermatologist, because at this point it was like an emergency. Like, I didn't really know emergency room or dermatologist because it
Mhm.
was painful. They gave me some antibiotics and some other topicals to use. The antibiotics worked very fast. I was feeling a whole lot better, at least within 48 hours, but they told me to rest for 24 hours because, like, the pain was just not tolerable.
Mm.
And then after that, that's when I really started to do research, and, all of this is inflammatory. So turmeric and stuff like that, zinc, because it's your immune system fighting against you. So I take turmeric, zinc, vitamin C, magnesium, all of that to just keep everything at bay.
Mhm.
So that's really the bulk of it all.
Yeah. That is a lot. I mean, dealing with so many different things all at once can be difficult for anybody. Did you have a support system to help you get through all of this and to navigate that?
Yes. So I've learned that HS also runs in my family,
Mm.
genetics. I do have a cousin. She actually has the worst stage of HS. So she constantly has surgeries, and she's always getting her lymph nodes removed and abscess cut out and stuff like that. Like, she goes through a lot. And I couldn't imagine going through that. But me and her, we try to have each other's back, kind of feed off of
Mhm.
what works, what doesn't work. But my husband is literally my rock. He's gone through everything that I've been through health wise. I couldn't have picked a better partner. My parents are great. My dad and my stepmom, like, they're always by my side. They're always wanting to know what's going on, especially when I was going through diabetes. Like while I was cleaning out my pantry and my fridge, they did the same thing. Like they're like, we're all in this together. We're going to do it with you because if you're unhealthy, then shoot, we probably are too, like let's get on board. So I have a huge support system. All of my family lives here and we just love each other and care for each other. So I've never not had any support on my side.
I think that makes a huge difference when
Mhm.
you're navigating something like as much as you've been navigating, just having family members that can be there for you and help navigate. I love that they all clean out their pantry with you. That's amazing.
I know. I went over to their house. I was like, oh, wow. So all the good snacks are gone. They even went down as far as like changing butters because
Oh.
like we all love butter. Like butter is great. It's
Mhm,
giving Paula Deen, but I use avocado or no, olive oil based butter.
mm,
And Country Crock, they make one and it is amazing. Like
mm.
it just tastes like regular butter. I feel like it's more seasoned. But yeah, like my parents, they took it very seriously. They can't really get on board with the sugar-free drinks, but they try.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's good, that's amazing that changing your diet and adding the supplements really can make a huge difference. So and that just stemmed from you doing your own education and research, right?
Yes, because I've noticed, especially dealing with diabetes, a lot of doctors just wanna push medication, and for someone like me, like not everything works, and I also just don't wanna depend on it because
Mhm,
I've always had to, um, and I say this based off of because, like I mentioned before, like, I had irregular, menstrual cycles and stuff like that, so I've always struggled with that even since my very first menstrual cycle, so I've always been on medication, and, like, yes, like, some medicines are great, like, if it's necessary, but if you can really find the actual root and treat
mhm,
it naturally, I will take that route every single time. For a while, they had diagnosed me with stage 4 endometriosis, but I struggled with cramps, severe. I mean, the cramps would be so severe that the pain will make me nauseous. I could feel the cramps all the way in my feet.
mhm,
So, also in 2024, I had a hysterectomy, but I still have my ovaries, and they found out I have adenomyosis. They
mm,
didn't find any signs of endometriosis. It was adenomyosis. So, if people don't know, endometriosis is when the lesions are on the outside of your uterus,
mhm,
and then adenomyosis is just reversed. The lesions are on the inside of your uterus.
wow,
So, the only cure is to have a hysterectomy, and honestly, once I had that surgery, I feel like that literally cured everything. Like,
wow,
I have never been pain-free.
mm,
Like, I've always constantly been taking pain medication. They put me on Orilissa for 2 years. I say it's similar to chemotherapy, but it's just
mhm,
to help reduce the pain. And then they also put me on a progesterone to actually stop my periods because I was getting to a point where having a period was like detrimental to my health. It
wow,
was causing high blood pressure. I was hemorrhaging a lot. I think I hemorrhaged for 3 months straight one time. My period would literally restart every single week. I
oh,
would think it was gonna be over and then bam, Sunday came, started again. So, yeah. I feel great, like I'm the best I've ever been or
mm.
as healthy as I've ever been.
As far as, like, chronic diseases go, you were since you're studying sports and performance psychology, how has education helped you navigate this chronic illness?
Well, so for me, sports has always been a stress reliever for me. So without sports, I don't even think I would be able to function, especially with everything else that's been going on. So I learned recently about like athletic identity. So
Mhm.
I was like, dang, I'm literally like the spokesperson for it because softball has been my life and now it's definitely my identity. Even though I'm not playing, I'm still teaching, coaching, training, and I love it. And what I can't see my life without it because I'm able to help people help or help other girls, if they're going through things mentally, like, hey, let's use softball as our outlet. So that's really how I've navigated everything. At the end of the day, it's like I genuinely lean on softball to kind of help me regulate my emotions and release my stress, release my anxiety. I was one of those people that always loved playing under pressure. Like, I loved it if a game was tied, bottom of the seventh, 2 outs, and I'm up to bat. Oh, absolutely. I want all of it. I will get 2 strikes on me. Like, I'm trying to see what the pitcher is trying to do. Like I'm just that kind of person. It's crazy, but yeah, softball
Yeah.
has gotten me pretty much through everything.
Yeah, it seems like it makes such an impact when you have especially on your mental health, because I'm sure during difficult periods and flares that you were having, I'm sure that had an effect on your confidence and your self-esteem, but you don't seem like the kind of person that, like, anybody would know, like, something was wrong. You seem
Yeah,
like
a lot.
you're always, like, cheerful, like, "Oh, she always
Yeah,
seems like she's got it together."
well, I try, and a lot of it is based off of, like, who my dad is. Nobody ever knows, which I'm putting his business out there, but he is an electrical engineer, and
Mhm.
he's, like, the bomb at his job. Nobody knows that he's an engineer because he's so athletic. Like,
Mm.
he's the person that is, like, literally good at everything. Like, he is the kind of person it's always action for him. It's never like talk. And so my dad is a very humble person. Um, and he's taught me to be humble. So it's like a little rewind, but he was mostly a single parent most of my life. So he's all I know. So we do run our hitting facility together. We're like attached at the hip. It's crazy. But he's very humble. He's a great example of how you should carry yourself. And me and him just together, we've been through so much in our life. And he just like, you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep living. Whatever you're going through, like you're gonna get through it. So he never let me get down on myself. Like, yes, I
Yeah.
will, crash out behind closed doors. I still do, but like a day like today is beautiful. Shoot, let the day go on.
Mhm.
You only get one life. There's no point in wasting it.
Absolutely. So what strategies or what things have you done now to help others that, do you have a community of, well, you said family members that are living with HS and type 2 diabetes, but are you openly reaching out to people to have conversations and helping them, or what does your advocacy look like right now?
I mostly share my experiences on Facebook. I have
Mhm.
a lot of people on my Facebook. I'm pretty like active on Instagram as well, but I've gotten a lot of connections through Facebook. Because I'll put, like hashtags like diabetes type 2, and, people research all the time. And it's crazy to say this now, but social media is a good resource for researching things.
Mhm.
So due to like my hashtags and stuff, like I've had the Health Monitor Network contact me, and I've done interviews with them and actually got featured in one of their magazines. So a lot of it I just post on Facebook because you never know who's going through it. I'm not the kind of person that'll reach out. I'm more of like, I'll put this out here as a resource for you. If you use it, great. If you don't, and then a lot of times people will, like direct message me, we'll talk. Trying to figure out like health plans and stuff. And sometimes I'll do it. I say, hey, even though it worked for me, may not work for you, but this is my suggestion because I'm not, like a certified dietitian or nutritionist or anything. But a lot of people think that since you have diabetes that you literally have to cut out everything. That's not the case. It's just more so doing stuff in moderation, making sure that stuff is portioned out correctly. But other than that, I have a sweet tooth. Like I love sweets. I don't a cinnamon roll hate to see me coming. Like, but I'm not gonna eat a dozen cinnamon rolls all at once. But at least once a week, kind of indulge in it. But a lot of people kind of freak out because it is scary.
Uh-huh.
Like getting diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, it is so scary because when I got diagnosed, I lost my vision, I lost my short-term memory. I just felt not myself, and
Mm.
I don't ever want to feel that way again. So I tell people like take it seriously. I know like they joke about it, like back in the day, the what they say, the diabetes commercial, the older guy with the mustache. Like people think it's funny because they be
Mhm.
like, oh, it's because you eat too much. And a lot of times it may not even be diet, it may be genetics.
Mhm.
So it's, take it seriously. I've seen family members die from this disease. I've seen people lose limbs
Mhm.
and everything because I mean, it's something to take serious. If people have questions, I don't mind answering them. So I love it when people reach out to me because absolutely we can do this together.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I think that's amazing to be able to share your story, to be able to be open about it and say, "Hey, it's those minimal lifestyle changes that you might need to make. There are some sacrifices, but there's also good that you can find in that as well." And being able to be in control of your mental health, I think is a huge piece of that. And knowing if you don't have family support, look for outside resources and support systems that you can connect with and be able to have that support to help you get through.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. What strategies
I
have helped maintain your positive mindset?
I feel I this is like a weird answer, and I say this all the time, but honestly, fear. Fear has definitely guided my positive mindset because, you're supposed to learn from the past and learn from your mistakes. And I
Mm,
tell people all the time, especially, my students that I train, I love failing. I absolutely love it because then I know what to do next or I know how to improve.
mhm,
So I'm always looking for the next best thing. And me having that to look forward to is what keeps me positive because I know things can get better. Like you've already gone through the worst part of it.
right.
So I know that things can get better.
Yeah. What would you say to other athletes that may be dealing with a chronic disease as far as maintaining their exercise and overall health and wellness, but also being able to continue as an athlete?
You are not your disease. You are not your disease. You
Mhm.
are great. You're awesome. You're an all-star. Like, just because you have bad days doesn't mean that's permanent. Like, you get back out there and you grind it out. Because there have been days, especially if we did terrible and our coach got on to us and we had to run and I was having a major flare up or whatever, like, you just have to push through it. You just have to. It makes you a better person at the end of the day because I don't like quitting. I don't like quitting anything. So, yes, push through. It'll get better.
So, what does performance mean to you today compared to when you were competing at a high school level?
Oh gosh, I'm still thinking about that right now. We talk about that in our discussions and stuff. Cuz when you are an athlete and then you become an adult, performance is very different. Because as an athlete, like, yeah, you have time to prepare and train, and based off of your performance is you get playing time. As an adult, it's you almost start to get like anxiety, PTSD, because you don't want to fail. And you're an adult now, so when you do fail, there's actually, like, real consequences if you fail. Like,
Mhm.
as in sports, like, yeah, you might have to, like, run or whatever, get suspended, but, when you become an adult, oh, I mean, you gotta worry about if you're gonna get fired or not. So, my transition from being an athlete to an actual adult in the working society, it was a huge transition. I was a teacher and I started teaching in COVID, so that was already crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I was a middle school PE teacher, and that transition was wild. Already navigating COVID was wild, but navigating middle schoolers for your first year during COVID was even wilder. I think my anxiety actually got worse. Like, I never had performance anxiety as an athlete because I felt like I thrived in high pressure situations. But then going into the workforce, it's like I don't even want to have it. It almost felt like detrimental, like suffocating. I was always constantly overthinking things.
Mhm.
um, so even now, I'm still trying to figure that out, because I'm only in my 30s, so I still feel like I'm a little teenager trying to navigate the world, but I will say I genuinely like working for myself. I love working at Alabama A&M, and so performing wise, I think I've figured out who I am and how I need to be successful. So it's like a learning curve, like little
Mhm.
steps. Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure it is. We were talking earlier, my husband went to Alabama A&M, he played football there. Tell me,
Oh,
can you
nice.
share with the listeners, like, your story behind that, how you got recruited to Alabama A&M with a full scholarship?
Okay, so the A&M coach was at the national championship games for I at the time I was at UNA, so it was D2, and she was still recruiting for people to come to A&M. And so she had saw me play when I was out there, and the coach was friends with one of my teammates cuz they played slow pitch together. And so she introduced me to Coach Hall, and we exchanged information. She said she really wanted me, and I was like, "Well, I was actually planning to go home anyway after this season is over." And she was like, "Well, yeah, I'll give you a full ride, just sign off whenever you're ready." And I was like, When I get it, Imma sign it right now." So, I finished out my 3 years at A&M, so that was 2014 through 2017, and I loved it. And literally, a little bit after I signed with A&M, my dad got asked to coach there, so he ended up being my coach as well,
Well,
and that that was crazy. But, I also met my husband there, so I love A&M. We're all Bulldogs. My husband, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law got her master's, my other sister-in-law went to A&M, so we're just a big A&M family, and we love it.
that is amazing. I love that your dad got a job there.
I was like, "Yo, this." I was like, "Promise you this was not planned." But he did not treat me like I was his kid. I think he treated me worse. I was like, I was on the bench.
That is so funny. So, and then now you guys are working together, have your business. So, tell me a little bit about your company.
Okay, so it is called MSA Hitting Performance Center. We're located in Madison. We actually opened in 2014. So we've been in business for a while. We focus on literally everything. It's a one-stop shop. We do baseball and softball. We do hitting. That's mostly what we specialize in. But we also offer fielding, catching lessons. We also have a lady that does pitching lessons, and then my brother-in-law actually helps train as well. So, because my dad is slowly but surely trying to retire, so everything is slowly but surely transitioning to me. So I literally do everything. He just chills half the time. He doesn't even know his schedule. So
On
it's
top of
just
your school and all of that and
yeah.
writing.
Yes, but
Wow.
we do everything. We also do strength and conditioning. I'm a certified stretch and flexibility coach, so I also offer assisted stretching services, and that's for any and everybody who wants to. It doesn't have to be for baseball and softball athletes. I have a lot of older clients that like to come in and see me and get stretched out really good. So, yeah.
That's been a thing. I've been seeing these like stretch places lately.
Yeah.
Actually, I've gone to one before, but they're actually really cool. I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, they've been popping up in my area a little bit lately. But that's cool. So, what are some things that you're looking forward to as far as whether it's advocacy or your company? What are some things that you're looking forward to?
Definitely finishing this doctorate because I will be a consultant for mental performance training. So that's what I'm working on is my license and certification in that. So I do plan to offer those services as well because, like I said, it's going to be a one-stop shop. Like
Mhm.
you come in, I want everybody to get all the services they need. If you need to get faster, stronger, come and see me mentally stronger in your mentality and playing, come see me. So yes, I'm trying to be like the ultimate entrepreneur.
Yes. I love that. That is so good. It's so
Yes.
exciting.
And also
Yeah.
teaching because I genuinely love teaching at A&M, so definitely, if I have my doctorate, I can teach more than what I'm doing, because right now it's just part-time and I teach 3 classes, but I teach teachers to become teachers, PE teachers, so it's very good, it's interesting, I still get to go visit the local schools and stuff, so I'm still in someone's classroom.
That's awesome. That's so good. Well, my last question for you is if listeners take away one message from our conversation about resilience, chronic illness, thriving despite challenges, what would you hope that it would be?
Um, just that people don't get down on themselves, to have less self-pity. Because, like I said before, you only get one life. Like, do what you can. Know your limits, but do what you can, okay? But just don't give up. Don't let it get you down. Just keep going and forget it, because every day is not always promised. So just keep going.
Yeah, I love that. That is so good. Well, thank you so much, Brandy. It was so great talking to you. And I loved hearing your story. And I know this will definitely resonate with so many people, but continuing to stay positive and an inspiration to so many people, I think is just absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for spending a few minutes with me and listening to That's Derm Good. You can expect new episodes of That's Derm Good every week. The podcast is available on your favorite app, including where you're listening right now. Subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a new episode. Bye.